So I wanted to talk about we keep talking about what's going on in our market and this whole
Sure.
the challenges between supply and demand. Let's bring it back to Albuquerque and what's happening feet on the street as we speak here
All
today
right.
on May 21st, 2022. And right now we have um, more homes coming on the market in the last 2 weeks than we've seen in a long time. And that's good news. That is not bad news. That is good news. The it's very common, and I've been talking about this for a few months now, that the number of homes that come on the market, we generally get a surge this time of year, and it's happening again. Of course, in 2020, we did not get that surge of new homes coming on the market, and that really set us back. But we're starting to see more homes come in the market, so that is good news for home buyers. Uh, the interesting thing that's happening is home prices continually are getting pushed up higher and higher and higher. Something that's happened just in the last few weeks, though, is the number of homes taking a price reduction, not selling immediately like they were, and taking a price reduction has gone down. But that's like saying, it's like the jewelry store, the everything's 50% off. Well, yeah, I mean, everything's been marked up so high that maybe some people are getting ahead of themselves on home pricing. So if you're thinking of selling or you're getting ready to list your home for sale, think about the pricing and make sure you're getting the right strategy in place for that price, so you're not getting ahead of the market, if you will, on your price. Obviously, you want to get the most you can for your home. Eddie, there's a lot of different strategies in that. Some people think it's better to, come in on the market, maybe right at the market, what the data is telling us, or maybe a little bit below the market based on what the data is telling us, and let the market push it up, create the auction effect. And we've had that auction effect now here for the last couple of years in our real estate market, where homes are going over list price. Last time I looked, 50% of the homes, well, in fact, yeah, no, that was the April data. 50% of the homes sold for over what the listing price was. But like I just said, there have been some price reductions recently, and I think that's just, you can't keep pushing it up and up and up and up. Not saying that prices are going to slide backwards. It's just, everybody wants to get the most they can for their home. I understand that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think
For,
there's this is a complicated venture, but the last thing you want to do, folks out there, as a home buyer, without expertise. So hey, yeah, I've made a lot of money in my time in real estate. I'm like, yeah, I got this. No, I don't need a realtor. I'm going to do FSBO, for sale by owner. Oh, I think I can go ahead and list this. It'll be fine. I said, okay. And they all say, well, I'm going to time the market the right. So, well, I'm going to make another 6 months. Like, they start talking themselves into all this, psychobabble in real estate. Like, oh, whoa, bro. You might want to look at stats. There's actual facts and numbers and history, and we can go back, 12 quarters, 12 years, 12 months, whatever we need to do. But I think you need to pay attention to the data that will be indicate. Plus, at the very same time, you need to be with people who are actually transacting stuff. And I will
So
tell
I
you,
got let me just interject something right in there because you're
yes,
talking
sir.
about that. I can't tell you how many times I've heard over the last couple of years since the pandemic, right, and all the fear and everything we went through, right. I don't want to rehash that, but there was a lot of fear. Um, how many people said, "I'm going to wait for the housing crash before I buy a home," and those people are still sitting on the sideline.
Yep.
And the thing is, the people that bought a home a year ago, a year and a half ago, there was an analysis done, and they did a whole bunch of cities. And what they're looking at is how much home prices have gone up, how much interest rates have gone up over the last year, and we're seeing numbers like 60% higher. Your monthly payment is 40 to 60% higher than it would have been just a year ago because of the surge in interest rates and the surge in home prices. So unfortunately, people that have been on the sideline, um, I'm sorry. And if you're waiting for the next surge of foreclosures, I just want to address that because people still think that's a thing. They still think there's going to be this surge of distressed homes coming on the market. It's not happening. They're not there. They're not in the pipeline. I mean, there's a few. There's always going to be foreclosures, but the number of homes in a delinquency status, which means 30 days past due or more, is at an all-time low right now nationwide.
On that, I'm going to add to what Tego is saying is because there's a company called BlackRock,
Yes.
and people need to understand.
Well,
for
it's more
example,
than just them, but yes, go ahead. I'm sorry, but
yeah, I
they're
mean,
the
you can
poster child. Yeah.
well, you can get into Zillow and and they're literally just picking up and buying neighborhoods.
Right.
They're doing the one-offs. They understand, and what they understand is exactly the very thing that struck us back in 2008. It's not a bubble. It's something that's entirely different. It's market to market. It is only in places that are ripe for this very type of thing, where you can almost have a CCNRs of an entire city, which is what's going to happen in Boise or what's going to happen in a place like Queen Creek. Well, that culture will be homogenized, but they'll also basically keep all, hard to say it, all the same prices because they're not going to allow each other's prices to go down. So if you want to end up living in that neighborhood, it's going to be that much and you're paying for it, which is why you see such a big price discrepancy. Here's how BlackRock plays into this is they remember what the home builders did, like Toll Brothers and KB Homes and all the rest of them. What happened back in 2008? I mean, I remember it clear as day because I was living in the midst of it. I would go with this guy, Eddie. He'd go say, yeah, I'm going to buy these track of 100 homes, which you could do. Yep. He did it, and it was all stated income stuff, and then he got blown up. It was kind of crazy. Well, they prevented that from happening. No more stated incomes. People couldn't just go out and just buy homes like that any longer. So what KB and Toll Brothers and the rest of them decided that we're not going to let this happen again because you've seen home builders, their stocks, they're barely going up. They're playing on the little margins. Tell me if I'm wrong on any of this, Tego. Correct me.
Nope, you're right on track. Yep.
It's like this, we're not going to go ahead and expose it. We got hurt. We got our asses handed to us. This was not fun. It took us X amount of years to recover, which I don't even think none of them turned a profit until 2016. That's how much money they lost, and they got escorted by Countrywide, etc.
No, we without a doubt, and I just want to address that because it's a really important point. We overbuilt in 05, 06, 07. We overbuilt in Albuquerque, in the entire country. And now we've underbuilt for ever since 2009. Mm-hmm. And even now in the last few years, or let's say last year, there's been a surge in permits, but completions are still really low because of all the other challenges: supply chain, labor, cost, materials, name it, on and on and on. So if we think we're going to build ourselves out of this housing shortage, it's going to take a long time.
A generation.
Yeah.
I think we're looking at during the time from 07 to right now, which is 15 years, it's going to take probably another 3 years for it to all even out, from overbuilt to underbuilt to even. And that brings up my next point and topic for the show.